Hi, everybody. Diana here at Heartfelt Creative. It's Friday evening, well, it's about 6:30 in the evening. I know this is welcome to another episode of Good Gadgets. I know I normally try to put these out on late on Monday or on Tuesday, but this has been an incredibly busy week. Yesterday was the big spring fabric sale, went really, really well. Thank you for everyone who came and attended. Thank you so much for all of your purchases. You guys sold me out of so much stuff. I'm just thrilled. And I'm so glad that you all are going to get some of these beautiful fabrics, tulas and things coming your way. You're going to love them, I know. So no makeup today, sorry, or this evening. I actually put on some lipstick, but you can see my cheeks are really red. I have no makeup on. And I actually have been crying a little bit, crying with joy, because we just got some really good family news that our nephew is getting married to his girlfriend of a couple years, who we know she's a darling young woman. So we're thrilled about that. Dave and I are thrilled about that for them. Couldn't be happier. So anyway, Dave had to be out tonight. He had to do something for the theater, for an outside event they're having. And I just thought, you know what, let's just go ahead and get Good Gadgets done for this week, because I kind of had it set up, and this is a pretty quick and simple Good Gadgets this week. You'll notice I got a new backdrop. Last week it was Tula Pink. This week it's Kimber Bell's Doodle design in Aqua. This is actually, I'll just tell you about these. This is one of Kimber Bell's basic fabrics, but this is her new extra wide backing fabrics for quilts. So I have a few of them because I'll be backing quilts with them, but until I need it, I thought, oh, I'll throw it up for a background because it's so pretty. I love this. But this is from her basics line. And if I'm not mistaken, when I bought these, the shop that I bought them from, my girlfriend's quiltshop.com, shop is SHOPPE, by the way. They said that all of the basic fabrics now came in wide backs. That's just amazing. This is a 3-yard cut, so it's 108 wide by 108. So it's basically 6 yards of fabric. It's huge, but it makes a great backdrop, I think. Anyway, so that's all that is. And I think I figured out the light thing, so I'm not getting glare in my eyes. So I learned some new things today, and I whipped up a mug rug. Dave has a co-worker who is leaving to go to a new job, and so we made him a little going away gift, or I did. So I did that and talked to some friends today. So it's been a good day, but it's been a super busy week. So I'm sorry this is coming out late. Depending on where you live, you may not even see this till Saturday or Sunday, whenever you check in. But welcome again to our newest episode of Good Gadgets. This is our 4th episode now. I hope y'all are liking these little reviews of tools and kind of what you can do with them. I'm having a lot of fun showing them to you because I am really a gadget person. So today I've got 2 gadgets to show you, 2 tools. One is this little ruler right here. And I know you're saying, oh, wow, a ruler. Okay. Well, this ruler is kind of special. It's a quilting ruler. So if you do quilting, you can use this ruler. With the quilting foot and free motion, you can use this ruler. Yes, it is that kind of a highlighter see-through yellow. It doesn't really come out that way on screen, but boy, when you look at it, it's like really that color. But what's special about this one, it gives you a 1/4 inch line right here. So if you need to line up and do a 1/4 inch, excellent. Over here, you've got your regular ruler from 1 to 12.5 inches. So that's great. That's really nice because we do a lot of 12-inch blocks in quilts nowadays. And so this is perfect for that, because you'll have 12.5 inches before it's sewn into your project for your seam allowances. So this is 12.5 inches. But the really cool thing is, do you see right here where there's a 0 and then the numbers get higher going this way and higher going this way. This is a centering ruler. I love it. I'm going to tell you who it's from. I'm even going to show you how you can find it on their website here in a moment. But let me show you how it works and what you can do for it. So I'm going to flip the camera over now. Okay, so right here, several months back in the year, I did a little workshop and we did these kind of wider mug rugs. And the idea was to use our salvages and to do a little fussy cutting. So you may recognize this little unicorn. You can barely see part of his horn there, but this is from Tula Pink. And Tula Pink is right there because I had those salvages. That's Tula Pink. That's Kimberbell. That's the regular fabric from the one that's behind me right now. Gosh, isn't it sad that I know where all these little fabrics are from? But we did this, and this centering ruler would have been really helpful for a couple of things. So first of all, I find my center point. Now you can do that in a couple of ways. You can, we'll pretend like it's not quite finished, that there's raw edges. You can put it on here. Here's where it starts. You come over and it's about 8 3/4 right here. So that would help me figure out where my halfway point is, or I could fold it in half and do the little, give it a finger press right there, my finger there, and then take my friction pen or some sort of a marker and give myself a little mark to know where the center of the whole piece is. And then that would help me, if I lined up my 0 right there, that would help me to know that if I were still in the process of making this, that I want to put, if I want to put this section 1 inch over from the center, then I know right there's my 1 inch is right there. And so I would know where to put this. This was not done in the embroidery machine. This was all done on a regular sewing machine. Or what this would be really helpful for is on this part of the block. Let's find our center here. I'm going to do a little fold thing here too, because this little center should be slightly different. Yeah. See, that's the center for our whole piece. This is the center for just the square right here. So I know where that is now. And so if I put my 0 point right here, I know exactly where to line up my little applique. I know how wide it is to the left and to the right from the center. So it's really helpful when you're trying to find the center of something and figure out where you want to place something. So that's why this is great for free motion quilting when you're using your ruler foot, because it'll help you figure out where you want to go, how far out you want to go from the center of something. So I love it. I love the color. I love that it is good for ruler work. I use it a lot for just centering things up. So this is from, I'm going to flip my camera back over. This ruler is can be found at sewsteady.com. So I'm going to show you real quick right where you can get this. So if you go to sewsteady.com and just type in the search bar, I just typed in the word centering ruler. You'll see it right here. It's a 12.5 inch centering and border ruler by Sew Biz. Oh, that's a cute name, Sew Biz. So I can bring it up here and see the product a little bit better. So $16, that's not bad. I think you might even get a discount on these if you go to some of their online virtual classes. I don't quote me on that, but that might be the case. But it shows you a really good close-up of it. Tells you a little bit, allows you not only to measure in the traditional manner, right, the 1 to 12.5, but from the center out so that you can position your border designs. And they're talking a lot also about in your free motion quilting, your ruler foot quilting, but it really can help you center out from anything. So it's a great little tool. $16 for a template. That's an average price. And if you got something off at a class, you know, you might get a little less, or free shipping maybe. I don't know. But this is something I'm going to highly recommend. I'm going to give this, if I gave out stars in Good Gadgets, let me back here. If I gave out stars, like 1 to 5 stars, I would give this ruler a 5-star, because I really, ever since I received it, I've been using it for everything. So I love this one. Now, I'm going to keep the little mug rug here, but I'm going to flip it over so that we can just see the back of it before I go, because the next product I want to show you is, I'm sure that most of you have heard of Steam-A-Seam, Steam-A-Seam Light, Steam-A-Seam 2. This is Steam-A-Seam that is a 1/4 inch wide, and it's on a roll. Now, you may know about this, but I didn't know about this until a few years ago, actually. And what you get, 2 rolls, they're a 1/4 inch. So what in the world do you use something like this for? Well, you can use it when you're trying to get your zipper in place and you don't want it to move before you get it to the sewing machine. So you can use it as a zipper tape. Now, this is a 1/4 inch, so it might be a little wide for zippers, because I know zipper tape is actually a little bit thinner, but you could use it for something like that if you had a wider piece of zipper tape. It tells you right here on the box that you can also use it to make your own fusible binding. So you have to pull your binding over. Sometimes it slips, sometimes it rolls. Just add a little bit of this Steam-A-Seam tape underneath the binding and press it down, and it will stick. And then you can hand bind, machine bind, whatever you want to do with it. So excellent for that. And it is a permanent bond once it has been ironed into place. But there's something else I want to show you. Now, I wish this had been my idea, but it really wasn't. A few years ago, I was at a machine embroidery event. Remember when we used to go to events like that? It seems forever ago, and it was really only a year ago, but it seems like forever ago. I'm looking forward to going back to them. Not quite yet. Fully vaxxed me, but I'm not quite ready to go back to full events yet. But when I am, gosh, you learn so much at those events. So when you can go and you can go safely, go to an event, see some people, have fun, do some sewing. But I was at an event 2 years ago, and we were making mug rugs from a different designer. This is just something that I made up on my own for a class, but we were doing a designer, and we got it done and we got it turned out. And because we used this envelope back idea on those, there's always this flap here. Now, you could maybe put something in there, but then you'd have to put I don't know how you would do that. So how in the world do you keep this closed without it always flapping open? So someone told me, put a piece of Steam-A-Seam 2 right underneath that opening, steam it down, and then it's permanently shut. You can wash it in the whole bit. So let me show you that. Let's flip this over again. So here I have my Steam-A-Seam 2 on my roll. So I'm going to take my little ruler that I was just showing you, and we're going to find out that we're roughly 5 inches here. I don't want a full 5-inch piece. I think probably about 3 or so would be fine. So I'm going to take it off my roll, and I'm going to make a cut. Now, on this one, I didn't overlap mine, so I'm going to do 2 pieces. If your opening overlaps, then you just need 1. All I'm going to do is take my Steam-A-Seam off the tape, and I'm going to open this up just a little bit, and I'm going to stick it right underneath fairly close to the edge, but not right on the edge. All right, so I'm okay there. I'm going to take my other piece and just peel off. Now, one side of this will be tacky. So if I were going to use it for binding or something, I would place it down with the sticky side down, and then I would pull off my the paper backing. But for this, I'm going to turn this one just a little bit. It's easier to work with it if I have it off and can just kind of place it right in there. All right, so I've got it down, stuck there. Now I'm going to get my iron. Now I should use steam, but this little iron doesn't have steam on it, but I'm going to press it there pretty good. And I know it works because I've done it this way before. But with Steam-A-Seam, you are supposed to use steam, and what I'm doing might not make it permanent unless I use steam. So use the instructions that are on the actual box that tells you to use steam. So now, if you see, this isn't coming open. I mean, there's just a tiny lip there, but the Steam-A-Seam has closed this right up. So we're not getting a gap there. And that if this had overlapped, then it would be completely closed off. And that makes it nice and finished, especially if you're going to give it as a gift. You might not care about that if you're just using them around home, but if you want to give something as a gift, you want it to be nice and finished. And so closing that back piece with a piece of Steam-A-Seam 2 works like a charm. You get 2 of these rolls in one box. Steam-A-Seam, by the way, is from the Warm Company. Again, I'm not supported by any of these companies for any of these products. These are just things that I've used and that I've enjoyed. If it's important to you to know, Steam-A-Seam is made in America. That's nice to know. And so you get 40 yards. Isn't that right? Yeah, it's a 1/4 inch by 40 yards in this one box. So this is going to last you. You're going to do a few mug rugs. But if you were doing a quilt for your binding, this would be, I mean, this would be plenty for a good size quilt. And it would really help keep that binding in place. So I'm going to give this a really high recommendation too, especially if you're a quilter and you need it for binding, or if you are someone, you might be someone who machine embroiders. I'm going to turn my camera back around. You might be someone that machine embroiders and you love doing these mug rugs. They're everywhere. Kimberbell does them. I found designs online from other companies, other online companies, and they're so cute and they make such lovely gifts. So get yourself some Steam-A-Seam 2, finish them off nicely before you give your gift, and then nobody will have that little flap open in the back. That is my 2 good gadgets for this week. Centering ruler, Steam-A-Seam 2. So give them a try. You might have some of this. If you have Steam-A-Seam in your fabric or in your sewing tool supply cabinet already, go ahead and use it. Just cut yourself thin strips. I'm sorry, I have a hair in my eye there. Cut yourself some thin strips of that and try it, because it'll do the same thing as this on the roll. I just have it on the roll because I use it for my binding and stuff too. So it's easier than having to cut strips of it. But if you have this in the sheet form or on the roll, the regular Steam-A-Seam or Steam-A-Seam Light even would be fine. Just cut yourself some thin strips with like an old rotary cutter. Use an old blade. I actually have an old handle, and I use when this blade is done, it'll go on that handle, and I rotate them out that way, and then I get a lot of use out of my rotary blades. But just cut yourself some strips and give it that a try with the regular Steam-A-Seam 2. It'll do the same thing for you. Okay, folks, I hope you all, it's actually Memorial Day weekend here in the US. So to all my friends and family and folks here in the US, happy Memorial Day. Big thanks and a shout out to all of our veterans and to all of those in the military who have given their lives for our country and our people, and to their families. Thank you for your families' service and sacrifice for our country. And I hope everyone has a lovely weekend. Go out, get some fresh air, enjoy this weekend, enjoy some celebrations, but please be safe, take care of yourselves, and hopefully we'll all get back together, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Good Gadgets. Bye now, everybody.